Oh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hariyom and good evening from Flint, Michigan. Have you ever visualized how long you will live? That you've thought about how old you will be when your body dies? When I was studying Vishnu Sahasranama, and I was reading Swami Chinmaya on this commentary, there was a footnote where the primary dharma or responsibility for each stage of life was written. And I tried to find that shloka to share with all of you, but I haven't been able to thus far. But imagine that you'd live until 96. For the first quarter of your life, from 0 to 23 till 24, one's primary responsibility is seva. One's dharma in this stage of life is to engage in seva. And to make this very simple, it is to give one's time. Because up until 24, one tends to have more time, so you give time. The next stage of life, the next 24 years, so 25 to 48, one is to give, or one is to engage in dana. So that is giving resources. So the responsibility, the dharma of a grahastha, is to be generous with resources. In the third stage of life, 49 to 72, one's dharma as a vanaprastha is to engage in tapa. And really, that is to give effort. To give effort. So to give time, to give resources, to give effort. And in the last stage of life, from 73 onwards, one's dharma, one's expression of who they are, is shama. And shama here is with an S. That is quietude. One should be physically quiet, mentally quiet, intellectually quiet. And that really means one is given their ego. Because all we have is time and resources and effort. And if we're giving all of these, that really means we're giving up the ego. If you think about the present person and the trajectory of their life, even those who are younger than 24 no longer have time, correct? Those from 24 to 48 are saving to enjoy when they turn 48, 49. Vanaprasthas are enjoying during this time, so they're not giving any effort towards self-development. And that's why you find so few people who are just quiet. We have a vasana for holding back. We have a vasana for holding because we feel this makes us secure. But there's a danger in such a way of living because it's really holding back our nature. Our nature is infinite. Our nature is ananda. But the more I hold my water bottle, I hold my relations, my thoughts, I'm really holding back my nature. Bhagavan Krishna, through this science, which is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, is guiding us to let go. And if you let go, you let God. You let God outside, you let God be you inside. So how do you know if you're flowing along with, really we're going to complete the first third of Srimad Bhagavad Gita soon. How do you know you're flowing along with this course? Is that you're just letting go more. You're letting God more. The focus of chapter 6, a review, the focus of chapter 6 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is dhyana. This is dhyana yoga. And the P that we call this is process. Now to get to the process, one has to be prepared. To get to the preparation, one has to be purified. So purification leads us to preparation, which leads us to the process. And purification looks like, because it's a very abstract word, the purification of my hand is easy. There's only a few bacteria. What is the purification of my personality? It's I'm less worldly. How do you know you're becoming more pure? You're less worldly. And I'm going to take this to a very high level now. When you wake up from a dream, are you affected by that dream? If it's an awesome dream, you kind of smile, laugh, and then you get into the shower and become serious, correct? If it's a serious dream, you're kind of serious for a little while. Then you become more serious and shower and carry on. But the real relationship we should have with the dream is you wake up from that dream and are not serious about what happened in that dream. But the waking state is no different than the dream state. We shouldn't be serious in the waking state either. We should be careful, but not serious. When we're serious, that means we're worldly. We're giving this world more reality than it actually is. It's relative. And if you want to feel this more, then revisit chapter 4, shloka 28, where Bhagavan Krishna talks about 5 different types of yajna, 5 different ways of being less worldly. What we've studied so far is called bahikarana sadhana. These are disciplines that happen externally, and if these are done well, it helps us to get to antakarana sadhana. Antaranga, I don't know why I'm saying antakarana. There's bahiranga and then there's antaranga. And bahikarana and antakarana also works. In other words, keeping this simple, disciplines like puja, japa, tapa, dana, seva, all of that helps to purify us. And when we are pure, we are ready for antaranga sadhana. That's a deeper discipline. And antaranga sadhana is actually only 3 in number. Shravanam, mananam, and nididhyasanam, which is what we're studying right now, the process. Okay? Purification to the preparation to the process, and the culmination of antaranga sadhana, the culmination of nididhyasana is samadhi, where that personality, that ego is well and fully placed in infinitude, and one is free. Is that too heavy for the first 10 minutes on September 19th, 2017? All of you are smiling because you've understood everything I've said, or you've understood nothing that I've said. As I said nothing, you're all like, yeah, nothing. We shift to 6.7. I'm going to take up 6.7 to 6.9 right now. We finished by realizing that the dhyata is practicing dhyana of the dhyeya. The dhyata is the ego. The ego is practicing dhyana or contemplation on the dhyeya, which is I. I as infinitude. So Vivek is contemplating on Brahman. That's what we should be doing. But presently, what is happening is the dhyata is engaged in dhyana on the dhyata, isn't it? Vivek is actually contemplating on Vivek. Whether it's Vivek's hair or Vivek's relationships or what Vivek did in the past or what Vivek is going to do. So the ego is contemplating on the ego. So what do I become? More egotistical. This is called the anatma vasana. We have a vasana, we have a propensity, we have a habit to believe that I'm just the dhyata, I'm just the ego. And through following this science of self-development, we start to hold on to the atma vasana, where actually now I feel more like I am infinite. I feel more joyous. And the way to hold on to the atma vasana is nididhyasana. And if you remember what nididhyasana means, nitaram dhyayihi. What does nitaram mean? Always, forever, incessantly. Dhyayihi means to bring to mind. In other words, to keep in front of us. So does nididhyasana happen in that dark room over there? Does nididhyasana only happen at Sandipani? Does nididhyasana only happen to people with beards? I had asked someone, a group of people once, how does a sadhu look? And one person put their hand up, poor. To be able to engage in contemplation, you have to be poor. Nitaram dhyayihi means we no longer live by out of sight, out of mind. There's no out of sight, so there's no out of mind. The purification for nididhyasana involves having the vision and mission of purifying oneself. It is knowing that one needs to purify oneself and doing. In other words, this becomes one's lifestyle. One's whole lifestyle is dedicated towards purification. And the message, the summary message that Bhagavan Krishna offers and how to purify is balance. Balance. Now, how does this look in a more relative example? Someone had once told me, a healthy body is no body. You only become aware of your body when it's unhealthy, correct? As long as your neck is strong, do you ever think about your neck? As long as you don't have back pain, then do you ever think about your back or knees? But as soon as your back becomes weak, as soon as you turn your ankle the wrong way, that's all we think about. When we are balanced, we don't have to think about what we're balanced in. It's only when we're not balanced that we have to start thinking in these worldly ways. Bhagavan Krishna says we have to be balanced in 4 ways. Okay, we're studying purification. How to make our lifestyle oriented towards purification, to make it less worldly. He says yukta ahara. Yukta ahara. What does ahara mean? Food. The most literal meaning is food. But ahara is not just what goes in through the mouth, it's what goes in through the sense organs. That we should become balanced with what is going in through the sense organs. But defining food a little bit more. Every time we eat any food, I'll take an example of a banana. When you eat a banana, there's a tamasic part of a banana, a rajasic part, and a sattvic part. The tamasic part, when we consume it, we also defecate it too. Okay, it's just being held from outside the body, it's held in the body, it's discarded. The rajasic part of the banana becomes the body and breath. And the sattvic part of the banana becomes the mind and intellect. So if I consume a lot of tamasic food through my mouth or through my ears or eyes, doesn't that become who I am? Can I engage in dhyana then? But if I eat a lot of sattvic food, I become that. Dhyana becomes more natural to me, correct? Lifestyle. Bhagavan Krishna says, yukta, and we're all thinking, yeah, ahara I can do, but wait till we get to the next one, okay? Then we'll stop and we'll end the class there. Yukta swapna avabodha. What does swapna mean? We have some people in this class named Swapna. Swapna means to sleep, and avabodha means to be awake. That one should be balanced in how much they sleep and how much they are awake. So tell me, which is more important? How much you're asleep or how much you're awake? Which is to be regulated first? I think that the avabodha has to be regulated first. That if I'm disciplined with how much I'm awake, sleep will just happen. Okay? Which is why, really, this class should start at 3 a.m. But instead, we're starting at 8:30 p.m. A little bit more ideal would be if this class started at 8 p.m. and finished at 9 p.m. So that we're disciplined with avabodha and then swapna after that. This is most important because the first challenge that will come in when we practice dhyana is what happens when we sit for contemplation? Laya, sleepiness. Not even distraction. We just become sleepy. And that's why guided contemplation or in public areas is the worst because there's always someone who's snoring. And once you catch on to that person snoring, all you contemplate is on that person snoring and what you should do to get them to stop. Whether it's you snore louder or you throw something at them, and here you're learning about contemplation. Laya. To be balanced with being awake and being asleep. Yukta. The word yukta comes again. Yukta means to be disciplined, integrated, balanced with vihara. How many of you grew up in a part of a city where the second part of that was vihara? Like Vasant Vihara, Preeti Vihara, right? So many of us. I don't know why I said so many of us. I grew up in Niagara Falls. But vihara here means recreation, play, downtime. How awesome is Bhagavan that he's not just leaving it heavy with, be disciplined with eating and sleeping. He's saying even with how much we hang out. Why we have to be disciplined, yukta with vihara, is some vihara, some recreation makes us less aware. Some recreation makes us more aware. As an example, if you're inside an office all day and then you go for a walk for 30 minutes and then go home, are you going to be in a better mood or a worse mood when you go home? A better mood, correct? See, that vihara is making us more aware. Let's change the scenario. So you're at work all day, and then as you're driving home, you see a casino. And so you say, let's play the slots for 30 minutes or $30. When do you end up going home? Who knows what if you go home? See how that vihara, that recreation is making us less aware. So we should play. There should be downtime, but in what ways it should make us more aware? Yukta cheshta. Cheshta here means work. It means to exert, that we should be balanced with this also. And if I can just pick up on work in a very worldly way, so whether you have a professional job or your errands or even seva, Bhagavan is saying is be balanced in this, because if you work too much, what are you thinking about when you stop working? Still thinking about work, isn't it? That cheshta turns into chinta. We just keep thinking about work. You should learn how to turn it on and turn it off. That shows someone who's in control. Everyone's working with me. We're focusing on purification. Purification means lifestyle. Bhagavan is saying we should have a balanced lifestyle. Balanced lifestyle in the way that we eat, the way we sleep, the way we play, the way we work. If we are more balanced, we will be more healthy. If we're healthier, we will just be happier. And once you taste some of this happiness that comes from within oneself, one will want to go past purification. One will become a mumukshu. I want more of this. And it came from some purification in one's life. So now we are purified. So our body is calm, our mind is quiet, our intellect is still. Next comes preparation. Okay, the next part of getting to dhyana is preparation. And this preparation is a refinement in our outer and inner environment so that the process becomes more conducive. It becomes more powerful. And the message, the summary message that Bhagavan shares about the preparation is CSI. What does CSI stand for? Let's see where your minds are now. Clean, simple, inspiring. Your outer environment should be clean, simple, inspiring. Your environment here should be clean, simple, inspiring. And this helps our inner environment be clean, simple, inspiring. And I said it's from purification. This process is like a refinement to get to, the preparation is a refinement to get to the process. If you go to a movie in the theater, what can make that experience better? What makes a movie experience better? When you have nachos, correct? And what makes those nachos even better? When the cheese is hot and it's already become hard. And what makes that even better? When the person who sold you those nachos are feeling very generous and they put some on the chips itself. So you're not just eating salt, correct? So you're at the movie, but that refinement makes the movie even more attractive. Here's how we can do this with contemplation. The first preparation Bhagavan indicates is desha. Desha, which in simplicity means place. Bhagavan is encouraging us to have a place for contemplation that is CSI. What does CSI stand for again? Clean, simple, inspiring. Ideally, this place should not have any other use. This is called Chinmaya Tapovana. And initially, this ashram, in this discourse hall, we also used to eat here. So we'd have our discourse and then we would dine here. But everyone here felt that this should just be for discourses, for classes, so they've built a separate dining area. So this is much more sattvic now. It's much more clean, simple, inspiring. And so is the dining area. It's much more clean, simple, inspiring for dining. And I've been to many, many, many of your homes. I know you have enough square footage for a place for contemplation. So the kitchen or your bedroom drawer, you can do better. Okay? Find a place where you contemplate. Bhagavan says, ekaki. Ekaki means you should prepare for contemplation with your spouse, with your kids, especially if they're an infant, you should bring them there and seat them in your lap as you contemplate. Ekaki, you are completely by yourself. And if you're seeing the bigger picture, when can you actually be by yourself? The best time is the morning. And ekaki here doesn't just mean with a physical presence, it means with the virtual presence also. You have to press stop on that CD. If you follow guided contemplation, if you follow my guided contemplation, I openly say eventually you need to stop being guided by me. That level of ekaki where there's no supports. Bhagavan says, aparigrahaha, which means not to hold. More meaningfully, it means your place of contemplation again should be clean, and here he's picking up on simple. At your altar, what do you need? Just a picture of Bhagavan and one's Sadguru. What is at our altars? Every mandir you go to, you get a murti, correct? And then you're following Sanatana Dharma, so you don't know what to do with that murti, so you keep it there, right? You can't recycle it. It's made out of metal, so you can't put it in, you can't do visarjana. So you keep accumulating, isn't it? Some of our altars are like gift shops in Niagara Falls. If you go to a gift shop in Niagara Falls, you'll see 2,000 varieties of mugs. So some of our altars are like that. Aparigrahaha, simple. And our homes will actually be indicative of how our altars are. If you have a lot of stuff in your home, you probably have a lot of stuff at your altar. But if you have less stuff in your home, you probably have less stuff in your altar. You can walk around your house and decide. Bhagavan says, asana. The preparation for dhyana, asana. Asana means the seat should be clean, simple, inspiring. And when you're seated on that seat, you should be still. We always begin like exclamation marks, and then what do we become? First we go from exclamation mark to question mark. We bounce like this, right? And then we just permanently stay like that. I've seen it with Vyasa, you know, he's like this and he slowly slumps and slumps till, and he's an infant, he can literally sleep like this. We can too. We can't when we try, but during contemplation, we are experts at that. Asana Siddhi means you should be able to sit without moving at all, for 45 minutes. So next Bhagavad Gita class, 45 minutes, you just, no moving. Finally, Bhagavan says, Indriya. Indriya here means all of our sense organs should be disengaged. I shouldn't be listening to a conversation next to me. In the lesson plan, it says you shouldn't chew gum while you're practicing contemplation. It requires energy to change. And when we shut down our indriyas, our sense organs, we conserve energy. That's why this is shared. Everyone's flowing with me. So 4 ways to be more balanced for purification. 5 ways to be more clean, simple, inspiring for the preparation. Now, Bhagavan gets into a different form of preparation. What I just shared with you is external preparation. Now he gets into internal preparation. So there's more refinement, more preparation that's needed for the process. And he shares 10 practices here. So I'll start with Nirashi. Nirashi means to not have desires, to not have expectations. When we sit down for contemplation, we should be so nirashi that we are not even contemplating for moksha. Because if I sit down for contemplating, and I am contemplating for moksha, then I keep thinking to myself, am I realized yet? Am I realized yet? I open my eyes to see if I'm realized. Okay, not realized. Am I realized yet? That level of nirashi. Bhagavan brings in again, aparigraha. But remember, I said from external to internal, aparigraha here means one shouldn't be engaging in mananam during the getting ready for dhyana. Because if I'm engaged in mananam, I'm still holding on to thoughts. Dhyana is not thinking. That is to happen at mananam time. Nididhyasana, there's no thinking that's there. So internally, I let go of even my own opinions. Prashantatma, Bhagavan says we should be cheerful, but more specifically, we should want to contemplate. For many people, contemplation is a chore. Like as soon as we're done contemplating, we literally get up and say, I'm done contemplating. As if like you just got rid of the garbage. But we should want to contemplate. Prashantatma. Vigata bihi. Vigata bihi means to be without fear, like vibhishana. Looking at this in a more practical way, if you have to go to run errands or go to work at 8:30, when do you tend to practice contemplation? At 8:10, correct? And so as you sit down for contemplation at 8:10, what are you thinking about? Is it 8:30? Is it 8:30? I should check my watch. So there's so much fear. There's so much thought about worldliness. Vigata bihi means there is no world. And the best way to do this when there's no world is in the morning. The earlier, the less the world there is. Even animals may be sleeping if you start early. Bhagavan says, Brahmachari vrata. That when you sit down for contemplation, you should feel like you are brahmachari. Brahmachari means Brahmani charati iti brahmachari. Someone who's wandering, someone who's moving towards Brahman is a brahmachari. How this looks, that you have no role. You have no role. You're not a professor, you're not a female, you're not a human. No role. Yesterday I was with an infant, not Vyasa, another infant, and I was saying, this infant doesn't know he's a boy. And his mother said he actually has no gender. And I thought that was so powerful that forget about him knowing he's not a boy. Even his mother feels like this is just an infant. We should sit like that. 5. Bhagavan adds 5 more ways of internal preparation. Because remember, contemplation is the most transformative, and since it's the most transformative, it also is the most demanding. Bhagavan says, mat chitta. The 6th way of internal preparation is mat chitta, which means we should know Bhagavan. If you're going to contemplate, you should know Bhagavan. You should know what you're contemplating on. I sit down for contemplation, but I have no idea of Bhagavan. I have no idea of self. What will you contemplate on? And that's why when people say, I learn contemplation without a God, without a guru, you're not contemplating then. Bhagavan says, mat para, that when we contemplate, we should not just know Bhagavan, we should love Bhagavan. That in prayer, I speak to Bhagavan, in contemplation, Bhagavan speaks to me. And people you love, you listen to more, isn't it? If you really love someone, you just keep listening and listening and listening to them. Vyasa doesn't know how to speak a single word, but we love listening to any sort of strange sounds that he makes. Someone had told me recently, he doesn't make noises, he's singing. And that was a really beautiful perspective that this person shared, is that infants don't cry, they sing. That person is too positive. That person is too old. He doesn't know what it means to look after an infant. Satatam. This is a beautiful inner preparation. What does satata mean? Always. It means you have to practice this always. And in a very relative way, it is to be practiced every morning for 10 minutes, but every day. The more steady you are, the more sincere you become. Number 9, Bhagavan says, Nischaya. Nischaya means one has to be determined. How this looks is purification and preparation and process is part of who you are. You bathe every day, yes? It's part of who you are. You drive every day. It's part of who you are. I contemplate every day. This is part of who I am. This is part of my day, how I express my interaction with living. This is the most demanding sadhana. This is the highest vocation in life. And we will get pushed back again and again and again. Pushed back by others, pushed back by ourselves. Our ego is not going to let us face it. Which is why the last message Bhagavan shares is Anirvinna Chetasa. Anirvinna Chetasa means to be inspired. You get pushed, you stand up again. The ego is facing you, you go behind the ego. Like Bhagavan Rama went behind Vali. That's how Vali is the ego. You can't face the ego directly. You have to go behind Vali. Inspired. So 4 ways for purification, 5 ways for external preparation, 10 practices for internal preparation. And 6.11, this section closes with 2 promises, 2 resolutions, 2 sankalpas we have to make as we're about to get to the process. We're not there yet. No indicator of process has been given thus far. 1 resolution, 1 sankalpa we have to take is to not move the body. When you're getting ready for contemplation, for dhyana, for the process, to not move the body at all. Because every time we try to disassociate the body and we move the body, we come back to that identification. Which is why I keep saying how important it is to be healthy, physically healthy. And a tip here is, you know that thought that comes in to scratch your knee or to move your neck? If you possess the thought, you will be possessed by the thought. But if you don't possess the thought, you don't have to act on the thought. It's just a thought. And the next resolution that one has to make is to not move the mind. To not move the mind. And a way to make this more real, when you sit down for contemplation, to visualize that you are the only person in creation. That there's no job to go to, there's no kitchen to clean, there's no child to look after, there's no Bhagwan finally other than Sat, Chit, Ananda. You take up that sankalpa that you are the only person. It's a lot, isn't it? We haven't even gotten to the process. This is what real dhyana is. Narayana.